don't do this again. And about a Brown went around there and apologised. And 3 weeks later, the Chairman of Council got so even though Davies wanted Brown to go, he wasn't actively pushing it. But it was the Chairman of Council. So had to get around someone you got to who's parents even that. You'll never get another job. You can't have a job. There are no ways you've got a very good chairman to be out there. Well, I think obviously the power is very that's unfortunate. I'm not leaning on both sides. Well, we've got that. I've been 10 years younger.
He got pulled up there. The strange actors Harley does.
They're not technical time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might make a start.
Sorry. We're starting, guys. So.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the June meeting of the Space Association of Australia. Thanks for coming. My name is Michael Abdillah. I'm the Vice President of the Association. Our President, Peter Aylward, would have been here tonight. Unfortunately, got called up to work at the last minute, so he's not here. So I'm presenting some slides that he's put together for our normal association business segment. So you'll have to bear with me. So tonight we're having a special meeting, I suppose, looking at comprehensive roundup of world space news. We're taking a look at the Special Directive number 3 and President Trump's call for a space force as part of that, but we will also be talking about other things as well. So, as I said before, I spent a few minutes talking about some things that are coming up in the association. And one of those things is we have a Rocket Man book giveaway, which I'll talk about in a moment. And this is our feature space news tonight. Angelo. We'll have a break. And then Andrew Reddy will have the floor to talk about the latest in planetary and space science missions and so on. So that's a rough schedule for this evening. And, let's see how we go. So I actually have a copy of this book in my bag. It's called Rocket Men. It's the story of Apollo 8, and it's going to be released in Australia by Scribe Publications on the 7th of July. And it's the latest book on Apollo 8. There was one or 2 years ago, but this is a new book. And obviously the reason that it's come out is, yes, Len?
Yeah, the astronauts themselves have done their own books over years. I've got Borman's biography, which is a very good read.
Sure, yeah. So the reason for this particular release is because it's the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 8 mission. As I said, released on July 2nd here in Australia, and it commemorates that anniversary 50 years ago. So, the association has been given some copies to give away, and we're thinking that will work something like this. We've got 3 books for a membership draw. So all paid up members as of July the 18th will go into the draw, and that draw will take place live on air on the Space Show. We also have 2 further books which will go out via our Facebook page and our other social media channels. So that's more broadly. While thinking of billing and having some kind of question that we'll ask people to answer, and we'll choose a correct answer, and we'll go into the draw, and then we'll randomly select the winners out of that. So that's what we're thinking. And we've also got a 6th book that we will give away at the July 23rd public meeting here. So they're our plans. So stay tuned to our Facebook page, to our website, and to our meetings and emails, and further details about all that will come to light. Okay, just a reminder that our meetings, particularly for those who are here perhaps for the first time, our meetings take place on the 4th Monday of each month, except for December, and these are the dates for our forthcoming meetings of 2018. At our last meeting, we held our annual general meeting. That was held here in this room, and I wasn't present, but Peter just wanted to repeat the appointments to various positions. President Peter Albert, Vice President myself, Treasurer Tim Franken, who's sitting up back there, Secretary John Coleman, and our committee members are Andrew Rennie, Len Halperin, Ashley Hill, and Angela Durazzo. All of those guys, Andrew, Len, Ashley, and Angela, are also here. So please make yourself known to them. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is that for those of you who have been members of the association for some time, you'll know that your membership renewals are coming up. They're due on the 1st of July. So this is just a friendly reminder. You should have received an email to that effect, and you can either renew online or you can do that in person if you wish. So just a friendly reminder about that. Our website address is space.asn.au, or see Tim as well. Okay. So we might. Okay. Does that help? Yes, it does. Okay, so is Angela not? Len, yes.
There's just one other bit of book publishing news.
Yeah.
First Man, the biography of Neil Armstrong, was Jim Hanson's released a 50th anniversary, moon landing anniversary edition, was released in the States 2 weeks ago, and it's going to be released in Australia by Simon & Schuster in September. You can get the American copy online now, and the Australian edition. Same text, I think the cover's slightly different. So that's the latest edition of First Man, got a couple of new chapters in it.
Right, so it does have a few extra chapters.
Yeah, chapters written since Neil died, because the book came out in 2005. And so this is, Jim wanted to write one for the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11.
Right.
And to get it out before the movie. The movie premieres on the 12th of October.
Yes. Right. And the trailer for that movie was released a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, the trailer was released a couple of weeks ago, starring Ryan Gosling.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. Any other items of business that people want to mention at this point? If not, Angela, are you ready to come up?
Yep.
So this is Angelo in a formal life up on the screen, and in his younger days.
So how do we use this?
You'll need it higher, Angelo. Or speak loudly.
Sorry?
Speak loudly.
I'll just speak loudly, but see if I can manage to put this thing on. Can you hear me with this? No.
No, I can't hear that.
Can you hear me? No.
Where's the button or something?
The remake of the Ridden Planet doing it some of it's shown.
Oh, yeah, but it's a bit too far away, that's the only problem. And I usually move around. It's really I watch every episode.
No, but he's going to get it.
Oh, is it working?
Yes.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Just drop this down. It's very good.
Two guys that created in a few months, but he also really successful. Sold the full rights of
Got it. How good is that?
And when it became super famous, no pun intended,
Okay.
several years after
I can't see that very well, so we'll look at the computer screen. But welcome everyone, and this is a bit of a roundup. It's a bit of an eclectic collection of bits and pieces I've pulled together. So hopefully there's something in it for you. But I'll start off with the Washington Roundup. And when you thought it was all fantasy, guess what? We have Mr. Trump's Space Force. Don't know how he managed to arrive at this decision, but he did. And now the Pentagon is rushing around to decide how to actually implement it.
But he's an expert on space, his head is full of it.
Sorry?
He's an expert on space, his head is full of it.
He's an expert in everything. Anyway, let's coming this summer to Indiegogo, which is a crowdfunding site apparently. So maybe he needs a few dollars to make this actually happen. But there's a couple of bit of a description here. He used the recent National Space Council meeting, which was I think last Monday, and he basically directed the Pentagon to establish a Space Force. At the beginning of the meeting, he said he was directing the Defence Department to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as an independent sixth branch of the military. Pentagon officials have been advised that the President
would be directing the creation of Space Force at the council meeting, but were really caught a little bit unawares to this. Creating the Space Force would require an act of Congress, said Senator Bill Nelson, who, incidentally, he was one of the shuttle astronauts. He was, I don't know, he was an astronaut, but he was a passenger in one of the shuttle missions. But he's a Democrat from Florida who's quite outspoken with respect to space, and he basically opposed the move. A former astronaut, Mark Kelly, publicly dismissed the idea, and he basically said it was a dumb idea because the Air Force already do this. That's their job. What's next? We move submarines to the 7th branch and call it the Undersea Force. Interesting comment. But what it did do is it overshadowed, didn't have that particular fix in it, therefore that launch did not count as one of the 7 formatting flights. Anybody's guess? It's just something someone's fished up. I don't know how real it would be. Probably not. But he still hasn't dropped that idea. The other thing that's happening at SpaceX is he's acquired more real estate at the Cape. And he's going to build, well, I'll go back, he's going to build another facility there, not far from the information centre, if anyone knows where the area, and not very far from Blue Origin. I'll show you this in a minute. He's also going to build a fantastic equipment control tower. I'm not sure where that goes. Mike, do you remember where he's going to put that?
I think it's on one of the maps that you've got.
Yeah, right. And here it is. He's currently got Launch Complex 39A, which was the old historical launch pad for all the Apollos. He's also got Launch Complex 40. He's also got landing zone 1 and 2, and with the potential of the third one there as well. And this is the operations area. Not quite sure where he's going to put his control tower. The shuttle landing strip is there, by the way. Now the information centre, just to give you a perspective, is there. And this picture doesn't show it, but I'll show it, you'll see in the next picture. There's that area again. This area is blown up. There's the visitor centre, and there's Blue Origin right there. So they're within spitting distance of each other. And this is the kind of layout of the new facility. The state of Florida, I forgot what their organisation is called, the Space something or other, has actually given them some money to do this, as well as Blue Origin. So to keep the business in Florida, the government puts in a little bit of money, but it's insignificant compared to the cost of actually doing some of this work. And this is the kind of aspiration. There's Dragon, Crew Dragon 2, and there's some other various bits and pieces. There's the X-37 space shuttle, and we've got, of course, the BFS. There it is in comparison. That's the Orion capsule. That is, I don't know.
It's Dragon without the trunk.
Is it? Dragon, that's Dragon. It could be. It is. Yeah, it's
got the feed.
That's the BFS cargo version, and that's the people transporter. Of course, it's a space shuttle, so it's a huge thing if they actually do it. There it is. I like some of these cutaways. Have a look at the size of this thing. This all seems like a bit of a fairy tale, but the reality is he's building it. They're actually building this. Not sure where, because they bought a site, if you remember, in LA, near the docks, but they have to build a factory there first. I think that's the factory that mass produces it. But in order to do their testing, which they're looking at doing sometime next year, they'll have to be building this somewhere else. There it is again. Pretty amazing machine if they get it going. Now we'll go to his direct competitor, Jeff Bezos. He's the Mr. Amazon. He's got a lot of money. He goes every year and pulls out $1 billion check out of his, makes out $1 billion check and gives it to Blue Origin to fund his space enterprise. He's got this great factory up at the Kennedy Space Centre. Len has seen it. Big, huge. He's building big rockets there now. Oh, this is Launch Complex 36. I showed this last month, but there's a lot going on. He's building this to launch his nuclear rocket. This thing is big, and the engines are well into development, called the BE4s. They're methanol / liquid oxygen burning engines, very efficient. We should be seeing this fly 2020. There's the BE4 engine. And of course he's got another arm which is tailored to tourism or space tourists. This is the new Shepherd. The idea here is that for a small fee, possibly in the $200,000 range, plus you can buy a ticket, you can sit in there and it'll fly you to 360,000 feet. That's past what's called the Kármán line, is it? Which means that you're officially in space. You have a 3-minute weightless time, and no doubt it'd be fantastic. And then this comes back down on parachutes, this thing lands itself. This is the 8th launch of this particular version of this New Shepherd rocket. There it is. And here it is landing. Pretty amazing.
The interesting thing about him is, though, that he's yet to do anything that's going to result in generating any money. He hasn't been able to charge for anything, where even Musk, was flying satellites in 2013 for paying customers. So, he's got a big checkbook.
He's got a really big checkbook. I mean, recently he was announced the richest man in the world, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
he's got to get to a point, from a business point of view, he has to at some point.
He is, but he's the guy that's slowly. Elon Musk almost went broke in the early 2000s. This guy has always had a checkbook with plenty of money. And he's obviously in it for the long haul. Once he gets his rockets flying, proven, I'm sure he'll generate money out of it. He's actually, whilst Musk's objective is Mars, this guy's objective is to, help with the move to the moon. So his idea is a simple one. Let's put all heavy industry off the planet and keep this as a sanctuary. That's his objective. Don't know how he does that, but pretty noble objective. Elon Musk, his idea is let's colonise Mars, because something sooner or later catastrophic will happen to the Earth, which means we've got a second home that continues the species, if you like. So they all have different objectives, but ultimately they will charge and they will make money out of this. So here it is landing. One of the interesting things about this, and you'll see it, I'm going to play a video in a minute, you'll see that this can hover. Falcons have a bit of a problem. They don't throttle quite to the extent that the Blue Origin rockets do. So what happens is the Blue Origin rockets can actually hover and just keep themselves hovering above the ground and then slowly touch down. The Falcons, on the other hand, they have to basically come in at an incredible rate, fire their engines. They've got to time it perfectly to make the landing. They don't have that ability of throttling the Merlin engines like the BE3s and certainly the BE4s. Not sure about the Raptor, which is a new rocket engine that SpaceX is building, but that's the reason you'll see this thing hover. And here we have launch
4. Command at start. 2, 1.
West Texas. Keep your eye on this thing here.
Watch the separation. Gain speed towards our maximum at G booster coming down, and you saw
There go
the
the
capsule.
track brakes. Weird, the sonic flew down here.
There goes the air brakes.
And you like your fur?
Now on the top.
And touchdown! Welcome home to Shepherd. Beautiful landing. All right. It's not over though. All eyes are on the captain.
I think this will have something like about 4 or 5 people in it.
There go the 3 drones.
Got huge windows. So when you get to
And
fly,
there go the mains.
Okay.
500 feet. And touchdown. Beautiful soft landing for our crew capsule. What a beautiful mission down here in West Texas. Woo!
4.
okay, that they will fly test cruise probably this year sometime. Next year they'll start selling tickets, so save money. This is another perspective, but this is a good one too.
6, 5, 4. Command at start. 2, 1. Engine is running. Entry boost over. Shepherd is clear tower. 10,000 feet. CC detect separation. CC apogee 351,000 feet. Gear deployed. 20. CN touchdown. CC touchdown. CC auto safety started.
So there you have it. They're going neck and neck in competition with Virgin Galactic. I'll come to them shortly. Now, Rocket Lab. I thought that tonight we might have a video of the launch from New Zealand, but it's been delayed till tomorrow, weather permitting. They had a problem the other day with the tracking station somewhere, and they went and fixed it. But that's the Electron rocket. There it is. What they call the Rutherford engine, I think. And they launched from probably one of the windiest parts of New Zealand, I suspect, just off the Pacific Ocean. And there it was the other day, standing there amongst the stars, and you'll notice the different colours are really frosting on the side of the carbon fibre tanks. So with a bit of luck, in the next few days we'll see that go from New Zealand, and it'll be the first operational flight of that particular rocket. So it'll be fantastic to see. So close to home too. Now, like I said, Virgin Galactic is the next competitor to Blue Origin to take people into space for basically joyrides, for want of a better word. This has been in development for some time. They did have an accident a while back, and they've had to recover from that, but they've been doing drop tests, power drop tests, and they're just about ready to start flying test crews. Yes, passengers, I should say. So it depends on who does it first, whether it will be Jeff Bezos Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic.
And this is the power test that was recently flown.
Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to the next test flight of Unity. A little bit about today's flight. Obviously the flight last month was a great step forward for the program. To recap on crew assignments, we have Dave Mackay as pilot in command on Spaceship 2, Mark Borges-Hookie in the right-hand seat. On White Knight 2, we have CJ Sturko, Nicola Pacelli, and flight test engineer Colin Bennett.
Sounds Australian, doesn't it?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's the White Knight 2, the carrier aircraft. And of course, Virgin Galactic is Richard Branson.
Similar idea, takes you to 360,000 feet or thereabouts. You're in space and you can float around a cabin as this thing comes down. So you'll see passengers on there probably next year as well. It's the start of what they call space tourism.
The route 10 derivation.
It's hard to tell from this picture, but the wings actually go up and weathercock
To put drag onto the spacecraft, so it slows down, come in, and there is this landing, unpowered landing.
Just incredible, and once again, congratulations to everybody, and it's just so wonderful that it's finally there. But let's hear from pilots.
That's Spaceport America, isn't it, Mike?
Thank you, Richard.
Where is this?
I think it's in Mojave.
Yeah, so that was an amazing flight that exceeded expectations, and I want to thank everybody who put so much effort into it over the last few years.
Incidentally, Virgin Galactic has another organisation called Virgin Orbital. Is it Virgin Orbital?
Virgin Orbital.
Yeah, and they're about to launch, very much like the Pegasus launches off a Lockheed TriStar aircraft. Their version will actually launch off a 747, and it's underslung. The 747 will drop and launch small payloads into orbit. That's not far from actually being tested. I'd say within the next 4 or 5 months, maybe even sooner, you'll see that going. So that's the two things that Virgin have currently got in the play here. Okay. Now this is a little bit of retro, because to date, this is still, you know, top of the... Now I've got to be right here, because the M1 booster, I got the feeling, which is the Soviet M1 booster, might have been a little bit more powerful than this. The trouble is it never actually got very far. It kind of blew up before it got very high in the air. Whilst this right here, my Saturn, flew all these missions. And of course, you know, from Apollo 4, Apollo 6 test flights, there's the Apollo 8 mission around the moon in December of '68. Then the Apollo 9, which was Earth orbit, test out the lunar module. Then of course Apollo 10, orbit around the moon but not land. I'm sure they didn't put enough fuel in there so that who were the co-pilots?
And make sure that's evidence and
Okay. Had they had the fuel, do you reckon they would go for it?
They didn't expect enough fuel.
They didn't have enough fuel in that. Apollo 11, of course, first of the landing, Apollo 12, Apollo 13, 14 Alan Shepard, 15 we had David Scott on the moon, then we had John Young, and Ed Mitchell, and we have my surname, the studio surname, and of course George Schuyler. Ed Mitchell was filled in. Amazing rocket.
Four of them are still alive. Four.
If you ever get to Kennedy Space Center, you'll see one of these things lying on the side. There's one in Houston as well, but it's a sight to be seen. It is unbelievable. And just remember, this is plus 50 years ago.
And there's one in Alabama.
Sorry?
There's one in Huntsville.
Yeah, in Marshall Space Base in Huntsville. We'd better send. Years before this, Kennedy advocated the US would go to the moon. This rocket was still on paper. 8 years. There is a rocket that will come close to that in the next, two potential rockets that will come close to that in the next 5 years. One will be the Space Launch System, which will have its first flight probably in 2020. But it will not be of the same power as this one in its first iteration. And then there's of course the BFR from Musk. If that gets off the ground, it'll be in that kind of same
was so intense you couldn't see the instrument panel. I thought we'd had it during launch. I was hoping that Frank Borman didn't have his hand on the port controller. He even said he took his hand off. He'd rather die than make a false run.
1 minute after liftoff, the Saturn V is already supersonic.
Well, the Saturn V is still the most powerful machine that man has ever devised. 20 tons of fuel a second, 7.5 million pounds of thrust. I think we were all surprised at how strong that thing was. It had 2 or 3 before ours, but it was a piece of cake. It just worked good. Unbelievable.
5 engines in the first stage blast the Saturn V to 7 times the speed of sound.
The second stage cut in. Big bang.
At 40 miles high, it's still
On
accelerating.
your stage, you were throwing forward in the belts, then backward in the belts. And I thought I was being catapulted through the instrument.
Rockets to achieve the result. Slightly different, but these will be the heaviest lift rockets that the Chinese can muster. I think it's the Long March 5. They did have a failure recently, but they're going to restart the launches of that particular rocket. So it'll be interesting to see how the Chinese go. They've definitely announced earlier that they are going to the moon, and not long after, America decides that it's going to the moon as well. So a bit of competition is good. This is some of their architecture again. Lander, propulsion module, and of course the rocket. But this is what the Chinese are currently developing. Most of the spacefaring countries are developing their own new manned spacecraft. The Chinese have got this. The Russians have got the Federation spacecraft. And of course the Americans have got the Orion for deep space projects. Interesting news over the last couple of days. As you know, the Tiangong 1, the first Chinese space station, re-entered Earth's atmosphere in an uncontrolled way. It happened to end up in the Southeast Pacific, fortunately, which is a satellite graveyard, deliberately, but it landed there by luck. But apparently the Chinese are starting to deorbit that at the moment with the view of actually controlling its descent. So keep your eye out on that one. There's the Tiangong 1 in April this year. The other thing is we've now got, the Chinese have now got a relay satellite in lunar Lagrangian point L2.
And I think you mean
Halo orbit, correct?
You mean the far side of the moon, not the dark side.
Oh, the dark side, okay. I have to correct that because it does actually get light.
Yeah, all of the moon gets light.
Okay, so that actually got that QKO, it's called. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Andrew, you know the proper pronunciation of it? QKO.
Spacecraft name.
Yeah, it's called QKO. That's how we pronounce it.
Channel 69.
Okay. Anyway, in December they'll be launching this thing, and this will land on the
far side
of the moon. The longitudinal side of the moon, and it will use that relay satellite to transmit its data. Then it will have a lunar rover. That is scheduled for December launch, so look out for that. But not to be outdone, they've got Chang'e 5, which is lunar sample return in 2019. So the Chinese are pretty aggressive in their space program at the moment.
The interesting thing about using a ComSat to relay from the far side of the moon is there are a couple of issues there. One of them, well, first of all, is the moon's mass comms. It's going to have to spend fuel to stay in a stable orbit. Also, it won't be able to stay over that position because the lunar, I shouldn't use the word geocentric, the selenocentric orbit is outside of the moon's gravity crater. It would actually start falling towards Earth. So you cannot have a ring of stationary satellites around the moon.
Why is she stationary?
I'm just saying you will only get passes. Yeah, you'll only get passes.
So
they cannot have continuous coverage with a single satellite.
Can I make my there are 4 frozen lunar orbits when not affected by Moscow's, I don't remember numbers, but they discovered after Apollo missions. Plus, this satellite on L2 is not for collecting soil. It's a retranslate.
No, it's,
So they still figure it, they're not exactly copying Russian architecture, they're using 3 modules. One of them stay on orbit and the last one would arrive. So they're using like multiple pieces, but the truth about this architecture, they can replicate it for Mars mission. They simply need bigger modules to go to the Mars and land on the Mars and launch from the Mars. But fundamentally, it's still the same architecture.
One thing I have noticed in modern spaceflight is getting used to all these crazy orbits that they're coming out with. In the old days, it was pretty simple to understand. Now, these altitude halo orbits and whatever, even the mission, the first Orion mission, has a really weird orbit past the moon. So, pretty amazing stuff. And I'm just amazed by the computer models that actually do all the work to navigate these satellites into position. The other one, the Australia launch, huge aircraft that will fly sometime this year. It is the biggest aircraft in the world, and you'll see the comparison. The only thing that's got a longer wingspan, I think, was the Spruce Goose. Sorry, it's longer. The Spruce Goose, which I think is the green one, isn't it? Anyway, it's big. This thing can probably weighs the most of any aircraft that's flying. Now I want to show, this is from the mate Dave over here. You might have seen it today, but some bloke went and produced a 3/4 scale Mercury Redstone model rocket. World record attempted 8. This is the size of it. This is a model rocket, alright? This is not a real rocket.
It's bigger than what's his name?
And there it was being built. Building a capsule on top. It's wrapped in fiberglass. Here are the sections. Put them together. That's the back tail of the redstone. These are the guys that did it. They're erecting it on the day. And there you go, Dave. Is a challenge on?
No.
No? For those that don't know, Dave was involved with a 1-to-1 V2 rocket that was launched in Queensland a year ago, and that kind of held the record until this thing, I suspect.
Still got one other record for the fattest one.
I don't know this one. There's a couple of videos on it.
He got a lot of support from his business because he worked for DeWalt and they let him use the machine shop, the CNC cut all the stuff, so they got a quite significant hand.
Mike, how much time have we got? I mean, I'm out of time here.
Yeah. How long does this story go?
This is a 4-minute. This is actually good. Margaret Hamilton was actually a programmer for the Apollo missions. That's the go. She worked on it. I mean, she basically, you know, with the MIT people invented this stuff. It's a good.
They announced that they were looking for people to do programming to send man to the moon. And I just thought, wow, I've got to go there. I grew up in the Midwest, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Upper Peninsula. I just enjoyed school, but there was something about math that I just liked more than everything else. I liked deriving the answers because I didn't want to memorize. It was too much. I was lazy. When my husband was in law school, they wanted the law wives, my being one of them, to pour tea. And I said to my husband, no way am I pouring tea. As a Harvard law wife, if I go to Harvard Law School, fine, I'll do what the men do, but I'm not going to be put in that position. And he was very proud of me that I had taken that stand. They announced that they were looking for people to do programming to send man to the moon. I was the first programmer they hired. I came up with the term software engineering, and it was considered a joke. What? Software is engineering? Mostly men were working there, and they had somebody at home to take care of their kids. I had no choice. I'd bring my daughter, Lauren, into work nights and weekends, and she'd see me playing astronaut to test the software and doing the kinds of things the astronaut would do. So she wanted to do it too, so she played astronaut. And all of a sudden, everything came crashing on the simulator. And I realized that what she had done is that she selected the pre-launch program during flight. I said, oh my God, this is not good. We really need to put a protection in there because the astronaut really could do what she did by mistake. I tried to get it through MIT, NASA. No, they said, astronauts are trained never to make a mistake. There was an emergency. Everything happened that we thought would happen if they made the mistake. So then there was a decision, go, no go, land or don't land. Fortunately, the people at Mission Control trusted our software, and they said, go, go, go. The software and the hardware worked perfectly. The software was on the ground and on the moon.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Your example speaks of the American spirit of discovery that exists in every little girl and little boy who know that somehow to look beyond the heavens is to look deep within ourselves.
Being fearless, even when the experts say no, it doesn't make sense. They didn't believe it. Nobody did. It was something that we were dreaming of happening, but it became real.
lot of stories like that, a lot of unsung heroes. So as time goes on, more of these keep coming out. Amazing. Some pictures that I like. I don't have that up on the screen. This is Mars, of course. Can't get over the photos. I just put them in there because I like them.
Just Nevada.
Amazing. And I can't, there's only Andrew I know that can pronounce this comet's name, but this is part of the Rosetta photo library. What's that comet's name, Andrew? Oh, you can pronounce it too.
We put a
Cheerio, that's the one. And that's, I love that picture that recently was released. Now, of course I like this one. That's it. Enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelo. Okay, we normally have a bit of a break now, so we'll have about a 15-minute break. Talk to someone you don't know, say hello. If there's anyone new in the room and you'd like to be put on our mailing list, I've got a sheet here on that front desk there and a pen, so if you're interested in being on our mailing list to know about our forthcoming meetings or special events, then please feel free to put your name and email address on the chair. Thanks a lot. See you in about 15 minutes. Thanks. Okay, everyone, we'll make a start for the second part of the evening. Can we make a start?
Come on, you two, sit down. Carrying on.
So, just to say a big thank you to the RMIT Space Technology Association for allowing us to sort of being our hosts here at RMIT. We've got some people from the association here who've set things up for us tonight, and we don't have time for them tonight to talk about some projects that they're involved in, but we are scheduling them in at a future meeting where they'll talk about some of their projects. So thanks guys, and but for now we're moving on to Andrew Rennie. He's going to talk about some space science and space science missions and give us an update on that. And so please come up. Andrew, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. A couple of updates before I start this presentation. The rocket lab launch, the American company that launches from New Zealand, the planning now for tomorrow. The reason they had to hold off, if anyone hasn't heard, is a tracking antenna in the Chatham Islands. Now, for those of you who are geographically challenged, the Chatham Islands lies to the east of New Zealand, and they have a tracking antenna there, and that's necessary not only to, of course, for rocket labs purposes, but also to allow the live video stream down from the rocket that you would be watching on the internet. That antenna failed, and they had to take parts out there. Now, getting to the Chatham Islands is not quite like getting from Melbourne to Sydney. It's the flights out to the Chathams are a little less frequent. When I was in America in 2010, I went to the Kennedy Space Center and saw a space shuttle being launched and that sort of thing. And I was talking to someone who was in charge of the external tanks and where they dropped them. And he said, "Oh, we dropped." And I said, "Oh, you dropped them near Hawaii?" He said, "Oh, no, on most flights we dropped them east of New Zealand." And I said, "Oh, just where?" And he said, he pointed to a map, Chatham Islands. And he said, and I said, "Why do you do that?" And he said, "Well, no one lives there." And I had news for him. Chatham Islands is very much inhabited. There's a large fishing industry there, and even has a radio station. And the New Zealand weather forecast, the Dominion weather forecast, always includes the Chatham Islands in the same way that our national forecasts here always include Tasmania or Northern Territory. So he said, "Oh, he didn't know that." So they're going to have to rethink the drop zone for the external tanks of the space shuttle. That was in 2010. Of course, there are only a few more flights to go. So that was that particular one. So let's head off here now with a little run through of a few recent events. Chang-E, that's C-H-A-N-G, is the number 4 mission. It's going to look very much like this one, which was the number 3 mission. And that landed on the moon on the near side. So they're going to land it on the far side later this year. Well, of course, to get data from the far side, you either need someone who can run very fast around the moon and hand dispatches over, or you need a relay satellite. And so that's the idea of the halo orbit. We'll receive some video of that in a few minutes later on. Through for your enjoyment, a view of the recent JunoCam images. Now these are images which are taken by the camera sent to Earth, and then citizen scientists that are called by NASA, take those images and then process them and repost them back to NASA. And then they're published with a credit line as being a combination of NASA and the citizen scientists' names. And so if you want to get involved in that, you can. Just go to the JunoCam website. So we're understanding a lot of new things about Jupiter just from this amateur work. The great red spot, by the way, is shrinking, and there's some debate as to whether it's going to vanish or not. This is interesting. Can you see the white swirl along there? That's a jet stream in the atmosphere of Jupiter. And notice the two pinch points, one at the very top left-hand side of your screen, and then one near the sort of middle, about 2/3 of the way down. So again, the details that JunoCam was giving is far much better than was achieved by Galileo. Now, the mission has been extended. Originally it was going to have periapses, or close points to Jupiter, once every 14 days, but because of a fault in the engine, they are extending the mission so it goes into, I think it's about 58-day orbit, and that means that they have to extend the mission well into next year, and this shows the planned orbits over the next, well, the rest of this year basically. One of the discoveries has been of the thunderstorms. This is the electrical storms in the atmosphere of Jupiter. Now this picture is actually a combination of a JunoCam picture, and superimposed on it is the data from the radio science instruments on board Juno, which detect the lightning storms and can locate where they are. And it turns out the storms are in the polar areas, in this case the northern hemisphere. There are very few storms in the equatorial areas. Yet if you come to Earth, you find the reverse is true. If you've ever been to the tropics, you'll know that you get thunderstorms there very, very frequently. Whereas if you go into the polar areas of the Earth, you get very few thunderstorms. Now there's a reason for this. On Earth, the main heat that drives the solar, the thunderstorms, is at the equator. That's where it's hottest, that's where you get the greatest thermal action. Well, because of the circulation inside the atmosphere of Jupiter, the hot point is actually at the poles. So that's why these thunderstorms occur at the pole. Speaking of thunderstorms, the French space agency, CNES, is developing a new spacecraft which is going to be studying the thunderstorms on Earth. You're all familiar, of course, with the storms that send thunderbolts from one cloud to another.